relationship with Elijah in the biblical text was used to portray how one's faith in God can be passed down from one person to another. Basically, Elijah passes his faith on to me. Well, as it's told in 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 15 through 16, God told Elijah that I was to be prophet in his place. Then the Lord said to him, "Go, return to Damascus. When you arrive, you shall anoint Hazael as king over Aram. Also, you shall anoint Jehu, son of Nimshi, as king over Israel. And you shall anoint Elisha, son of Shaphat," that's me, "of Abimelehoy, as prophet in your place. He came and found me while I was with my oxen, and placed his mantle over me." That was when I started following Elijah around and learning from him. He was basically my teacher. When Elijah asked me what I wanted before his departure, I told him, "Please let me inherit a double share of your spirit." During that time, this was the portion allotted to the eldest son. I was Elijah's successor, and I felt I needed or even deserved this much of his spirit. I definitely think it was received. I went on to perform twice as many miracles as Elijah, and my ministry was almost twice as long as Elijah's. God granted me these things as his answer to my request for a double share of Elijah's spirit. Elijah threw down his mantle to me as he was taken off into the whirlwind of heaven. In 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11, it says, "As they continued walking and talking, a chariot of fire and horses of fire separated the two of them, and Elijah ascended into a whirlwind into heaven." The mantle is a symbol of Elijah's faith being passed on to me. Although Elijah was gone, he had left me with everything I needed. Although I didn't know it at the time, and I was afraid for him to be taken from me. His spirit and faith in God was going to be with me always. The mantle was a material something left behind to signify the faith which is unseen by the human eye. Shortly after Elijah was taken up into heaven, I had picked up his mantle that had fallen down to me. I took it and struck the water of the Jordan as I cried out, "Where is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" It was then that I felt Elijah's spirit within me, and the waters parted for me to walk through, just as they had done for Elijah earlier on. Some prophets who had seen this happen at a distance declared, "The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha," and bowed down to the ground before me. I think this might be when I knew. I was Elijah's disciple, and he was my teacher. The faith of God that Elijah had was passed down to me in a double share. The story does a wonderful job of showing this relationship with vivid images of a teacher and student relationship. And through the symbolism of the mantle, we can still see similar relationships unfolding today in places such as church and even school. Pastors to followers and teachers to students. Perhaps someone else in the process of losing a teacher can learn something from the example of my story with Elisha.